What's up, guys? This is Brave, and I'm back with another review of Zatima. This is going to be season 2, episode 9, and let's jump right into the review. So, the therapist finally decides to show up, and him and Zach have small talk outside. They were just talking about their cars or whatever, nothing big. So, when he actually gets inside, he introduces himself to Angela. And then he goes on to introduce himself to everybody else. And Zach is sitting there confused because it seemed like when they told Zach the idea, this person was already friends with Angela, but he was introducing himself. So you could already see that Zach has the little wheels in his head twirling because he's like, what is really going on? But Fatima's like, just go ahead and help me in the kitchen or whatever, so that way we can have this dinner. So as everyone's eating, I promise the only person who looked like he was really having a grand old time, that would be Bryce, okay? Bryce is over here stuffing his face, drinking up all the wine. He's having a good old time. And I'm just like, sir, you do realize that, you know what? Never mind. Bryce is a little bit slow. That's what I realized. So Zach isn't eating. You actually have the therapist. He's like asking questions, and Zach doesn't really want to answer anything. So at one point, Zach mentions something about him having a lot on his mind. And here goes Bryce. Yeah, because, we have so much stuff to work on. And the therapist is like, oh, y'all work together or whatever. And Bryce was like, yeah. And then Zach was like, yeah, but it's only going to be for a little bit more longer, because as we already know, he's trying to part ways with Bryce. After a while, Zach wants to leave the table. He's ready to go to bed. And Fatima has to come clean and say that she's actually the person that invited Dr. Reed, because at the end of the day, she feels like Dr. Reed can possibly help Zach. Do I think that she went about this the wrong way? Absolutely. This was probably the dumbest way that she could have went about this entire situation. All right, y'all. So then here's the thing about this whole situation. Because you have Zach feeling some type of way because he feels like Fatima has tricked him, by inviting this random therapist to his home. But of course, you have Fatima saying that she just wanted to help. So then Bryce decided to say something. And Angela was like, oh no, he needs help too. And he's like, why do I need help? And she's like, because you tried to kiss him. What's really bothering me is that Bryce is really out here skating around when it comes to Angela as if he does not owe her a conversation. And the fact that he already had a conversation with Zach saying, hey, did you already talk to Fatima about this? Do you think she told Angela? And he's like, yeah, she already told Angela. So why aren't you having this conversation with Angela about how you had some type of feelings for Zach and you decided to act on it? Like, it's really frustrating to watch how Bryce keeps trying to skate around as if him and Angela are good. And it's clear that they are not. Now, I was just confused because Zach was like, oh, because the doctor has been asking me all these questions about my parents and all this stuff. And I'm like, wait, when did he do all this? And I'm surprised that you were open enough to tell him anything. But nonetheless, Zach is pissed off. And it's completely understandable because the way Fatima just kind of sprung this on him, it's a lot. So at this point, Zach is like, all right, Doc, go ahead and do your thing because you're already here. So here goes Angela saying that she could go first. So she goes on to say how, she already knows that Bryce tried to kiss Zach. Bryce, what do you have to say for yourself? So at first, Bryce was just kind of, just moseying all around what he should have been saying. And then we finally got there. So he lets us know that he likes boys, he likes girls. Okay, let me not say that. He likes men, and he likes women. And he also is a swinger. He likes to swing. And he thought that Zach was into him. And that may be a possibility. And I'm just like, sir, so you thought that you were going to be swinging with Zach and Fatima? You thought that Zach was going to let you hit Fatima? And then he was going to take it? Sir? Bryce, I need for you to go away from me with this. So then you have Angela saying, okay, well, I am just one woman. Will I be enough for you? As in, there was a possibility, there was a chance that she was going to give Bryce a second chance. Because she said, am I going to be enough for you? So I feel like there was a chance that Bryce could have kept Angela. But oh no, he says, oh no, because you're plus size and that is a fetish for me. Check, please. Check, please. Bryce, get out the house. We're done here. You know what? I don't need to see Bryce no more. Bryce, we're done. Your character is over. Is Jace around? Can we bring him back in? Give us anybody else. Because this ain't it. Angela deserves better than this. Alright, y'all, now here goes the therapist. He decides he wants to chime in. And the first person that he goes for is Zach. And he goes on about how Zach don't know his daddy. And how because of that, he's trying to fill a void. And how, Bryce has helped him out. And how basically Bryce got it all twisted. And I'm just like, sir, you're saying a whole lot to say nothing. Because at the end of the day, your response should have been focused on what Zach did. But really, it's more so about why is Bryce assuming that because, Zach is being nice to him or whatever, that gives him the right to approach him in a sexual manner. Because, again, all because this man said, oh, I will want your brain in Fatima's body, nothing about that is actually sexual. So I'm trying to understand where the therapist was trying to go in that moment. Maybe somebody in the comments can explain it to me because I did not understand that reference. So then he goes on to Angela. He says how she's such a beautiful woman or whatever, but she has all these insecurities that she's hiding behind her fashion, her makeup, her hair, and all this stuff. And I'm like, sir, get up out of here with this. Because how dare you sit up here and in this woman's face, because she's plus size, you tell her that she's hiding behind the makeup and the hair and the clothes that she wears when she's no different than Fatima when it comes to what she looks like. So you mean to tell me because this woman decides to put effort in what she looks like and because she knows that she looks good and she knows that she wants to look good for herself, that's her having insecurities? No. She just basically learned that the man that she was interested in, who she's been dating for a while, actually has all these other interests. The man completely fetishized her. Then he tells her that he's a swinger or whatever, something that she may or may not be into. And also he was just interested in possibly hooking up with her best friend and her man. If you don't get the fuck up out of here with this, I don't understand how you made that revelation when it came to Angela. Like, am I crazy right now? Because I am so confused as to how we only got revelations about Angela and Zach when those two were the people who got bamboozled by Bryce. Like, am I crazy right now? Please, somebody in the comments, let me know. Because this makes no sense to me. So then we also have Fatima saying how, sometimes when it comes to her and Zach, when they're having conversations or they're having an issue, she has to process things. And then after that, she then decides that she's going to tell him exactly how she feels about things. But according to Zach, he's like, no, but then I have to wait after you've processed things or whatever. She's like, yeah, because if you don't wait, then I'm probably going to, leave. I won't be here. And he's like, yeah, that's because you run away from things. But does the doctor have anything for that? No. He just told them to ignore their inner child and use their big adult voices to have conversations. I said no. He is not a good therapist. I'm sorry. Because we could have got somewhere when it came to Zach and Fatima. But you had nothing for that. I'm so confused. Tyler, stop playing with us. Find another writer, please. Because the things that you're writing are not making any sense. I get that you were trying to make this scene be so deep. But it wasn't given what it was supposed to have gave. It really was not. So let's just go ahead and move on because you have Zach getting a phone call from Tony. And Tony's like, oh, you should go ahead and come ball with us or whatever. And Zach doesn't want to go because Nathan will be there. And I'm like, please don't go because Nathan is only trouble. But I guess at some point, Zach is going to go ahead and hang out with his boys. I'm already annoyed. So in the background of all this happening, though, Fatima is cleaning the kitchen. She ends up, grabbing the trash bag. She's going to take the trash out. So Zach is like, you could have just asked me, to take the trash out. She's like, well, you saw that it was there. I shouldn't have had to say anything. You could have just took it out. So next thing you know, she takes the trash out. She calls her homegirl, Angela. And then we jump on over to Angela because she is having a conversation with Bryce. Something that we could have had without that blow up and drama at the dinner table just a few scenes ago. All right, so within this conversation, though, between Angela and Bryce, I promise for a minute they were just talking in circles because she kept telling him that, they can be friends, but she's not interested in all the things that he's basically interested in. And he's like, but I want to be with you. I don't have to, have threesomes. I don't have to be a swinger. Sir, you've just expressed all the things that you're into. And she's like, I'm not about to try to deprive you of that. We can be friends. I don't need to be with you in that way. And like Angela said, the guy who I met, which was the original Bryce that she met, he was all into Angela, only into Angela. So you can't sit up here and be like, oh yeah, I want to be with you and only you, when you've changed. You've completely changed the dynamic of the relationship, Bryce. Once you decided that you wanted to go ahead and try to kiss Zach, yeah, there was no coming back. Especially after you made your confession. Because at the end of the day, not only did you attempt to kiss Zach, you also made it seem like there was a chance that you may have possibly been lusting after Fatima as well, because you said you thought that they could be a possible swinging couple. Yeah, those were your words, sir. So then he goes on to question her about the guy who was at her house or whatever, and he wants to know if they're together or what that situation was. She's like, no, I just slept with him or whatever. And he's like, oh, well, I didn't think you were that type of person, blah, 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 blah. And she's like, yeah, well, it is what it is. I'm ready to go to bed now. I'm like, all right, cool. Let's go ahead and end this conversation because it got us nowhere. Angela, moving forward, I hope in the next season or, I don't know if there's going to be 2 parts to this season. I don't know. Either way, I hope you actually find a nice guy that you're interested in who's all about you. And let's not waste our time with Bryce anymore. Also, I just hate the fact that Tyler kept having her repeat and say that she doesn't like a man who likes the D, because I'm just like, we need for her to rephrase this. Use it in another way. It was just kind of annoying, as well as a derogatory dig at Bryce. I just wasn't feeling it at all. So Bryce finally leaves. Oh, and then he also gave her key back. I said, girl, why did he even have a key to begin with? I don't know what is up with Tyler. Tyler be swearing that everybody who has a place, they have 15 keys to their place. And everybody be having a key. Because not only does Bryce have a key, Fatima got a key. I wouldn't be surprised if Belinda got a key to her place. You know what? I'm going to leave that alone. Alright, y'all, so let's go ahead and move on to this scene with Zach and Fatima. Baby boy is ready to leave the house because he wants to go play basketball or whatever. And she's like, we're not going to talk about this. And he's like, what's there to talk about? Because you already had this man up in my house who went on ahead and diagnosed everybody or whatever. She's like, I was very desperate or whatever. He's like, what are you desperate for? And then she doesn't want to talk about it. I said, you know what? I'm done. Tyler, you have got to stop chopping down Zach and Fatima when it's time for them to have real conversations. I am so tired of when one of them wants to speak, the other one doesn't. Or when there's time to actually have a serious conversation, no one is fully expressing how they feel, because either Zach is Mr. Huff and Puff and he's over there being a hothead, or you have Fatima completely shutting down. Like, at what point can we have them just actually have a serious moment? Like, listen, we have been going through way too much at this point. Something's gotta give. Like, the reason why I decided to go ahead and bring in the therapist was because, number one, you went to go see your mom and you've changed since then. You know, the way you acted with Paul. Like, she needs to list out what's going on and how she's feeling. And then we also need for Zach to be like, okay, Fatima, but this is how I'm feeling. Like, can we please, at some point, get that conversation? Because I'm tired. I'm tired at this point. Also, within this moment, I think it's crazy that Fatima now wants to bring up the fact that, oh yeah, my mom wants to invite us over for dinner. And I agree with Zach. I don't want to go to no more dinners where somebody's about to, down me and they barely even know me. So I get where Zach is coming from in this situation because he's already met your mother and he's already met her energy. He can already see the type of person that she is and how she's going to treat him. So yeah, if I was Zach, I probably wouldn't want to go either. So baby boy decides to go ahead and walk on out so that he can go play basketball. And of course, we have Fatima calling Angela, and they have a boring conversation where nothing, nothing was really said of importance. Just the fact that they were both tired of the men that they were dating. All right, let's go ahead and move on to Zach because he's playing basketball with his friends. Alright, so now we have this conversation between Zach and Nate or whatever. And Nate is going on about how Zach has hurt his feelings. And that was because this man keeps meddling in Zach's relationship. And also, every time he talks to Zach, he has something negative to say about Fatima. And he also wants to go ahead and throw Connie in the mix. So I'm just like, sir, anything that Zach says to you, it's okay if it hurts your feelings because you keep meddling in his life. So then, he goes on to talk about how, Zach hasn't been happy, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, but Fatima has nothing to do with his lack of happiness. Zach has been on a downward spiral, honestly, for a while. And it's because a lot of, number one, Zach's choices. And number two, after Zach went to go see his mom, that brought up a lot of old feelings that he clearly has locked up inside or whatever. But let you tell it, it's because he needs to be with Connie, right? Okay. So Zach ends up leaving. But I just want to point out the fact that he did say that even though him and Fatima are working some things out, he still wants to be married. So clearly he still wants to be with Fatima. Nate, please get it through your head. Tony, you as well, because you are just such a flip-flopper. Let's go ahead and move on because Zach decides to come home and sit his nasty behind after he has been playing on that court, running and dripping sweat. He sits down on the bed and I'm with Fatima. Excuse me, what are you doing? If you don't go take, number one, those nasty clothes off my bed, and number two, go get in the shower because you stink. So he's like, go ahead and do the thing. She's like, what are you talking about? He's like, smell me. Now she says that she's not about to go ahead and police him. Even though when she was on the phone with Angela, she said that, if he came back smelling clean, she would know something was up. Clearly, she knew that nothing was up because he came back smelling musty and like outside. So next thing you know, there's somebody at the door and they're like bamming on the door. I'm like, they don't have a doorbell? What's happening here? Where's the Ring camera? So she decides to jump up or whatever. She puts her robe on because she's like, oh, I'm about to go answer the door. And he's like, no, I'm the man of the house. I'm going to answer the door. That's your problem. Blah, blah, blah. Like, he's just going on and on. And I'm just like, so you're not going to go downstairs and get the door? So the person knocks again. And at this point, they both decide that they're going to go downstairs and get the door, right? Y'all, why did they finally open up the door? And all you see is a haze of smoke. A person in all black. And it's freaking, what's his name, Jeremiah or whatever. It's Zach's brother. The only thing that this man says while he is smoking in the doorway is, take care of your mama, man. Take care of your mama. He walks in the house. The woman comes in. Zach's mama come rolling in, looking like she's barely breathing. She got her behind beat. I don't know what done happened. I mean, like, there's blood everywhere. I'm so confused. I am so confused. I'm like, sir, you could have took her to the hospital, but you decided to drive to your brother's house? What? Make it make sense, y'all. That is where the episode left off. y'all let me know what y'all thought about this episode. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And I will talk to y'all in the next review. Bye, guys.